Let's see what the desert speaks through us today. I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a low hum in the whole desert right now. And it's a bunch of bees all in these palo verde trees that you see around with all the yellow blooms. And they're just everywhere. They're just, it's just like this low hum. The desert has come back to life. The busy worker bees are about again. And it's that time of year, man. I guess it's time to get back to work. Life is springing forth. And I hope I feel it, and I hope you feel it within yourself. I do feel it, actually. I definitely feel it. I feel like the fire has lit back within my soul. And I'm getting to work. Not only am I getting to work at work, I'm getting to work in school, I'm getting to work at my home. Like, I'm organizing, I'm cleaning up my space, and I can feel my psyche rearranging. Like, everything, the clutter is dying down. You know what I mean? It's like it's time to bring all of the chaos back into order. And I forget who I heard say this, but it is our warrior. It is the warrior within us that goes to battle with the chaos and brings order. Because if you don't go to battle with the chaos, everything just kind of falls to the wayside, you know? And that's true. That's when a lot of life problems start happening, when we don't pay attention to all the things that are starting to clutter up in our lives and all the disorder happening around. And next thing you know, you're just like in this pile of shit all around you, like a hoarder, sitting in their living room with stacks of paper and bullshit all around you. So I think I think the organization of your life is very, very important in all domains, right? Like, at your, like I said, at your job, at school, whatever it is you're doing, your business. It's crazy how these things that we're involved, that we can use everything that we're involved in as a forge, to forge our character, to sharpen our blades. I used to think I'd go into a place or like a new job or something, and I would think, I'm in school right now, so I'm just gonna kind of put my head down, work in the background, and you know, just not try to take on too much, and just allow myself to focus on school or focus on whatever it is outside of work that I got going on. And it's funny because that never happens. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, life is going to challenge you. It's going to call you forth to organize that chaos. It's not going to let you just slip back in the background. And if it does, you're just going to feel the heaviness of it all. You're going to feel the weight of life. You're going to feel the impact of the decisions that you make. And sometimes it's not so smart to put so much emphasis on something that you want to do. Like, I'm going to do this and this is how it's going to happen. Because life always has other plans. It's better to be, I'm not saying don't have a goal or a plan, but I'm saying, like, set that goal and that plan and allow yourself to flow through whatever happens, whatever comes up during that plan. And don't stay so rigid on a plan that you can't adapt. You know what I'm saying? Like, flow like water. If there's a barrier, you need to either carve through the barrier, go around it, or find the path around it. But when we don't adapt, when we don't flow, it gets heavy. You know what I mean? And life's not supposed to be heavy. Life is not really all of that heavy. It's just that we too often try to pick it up. We're trying to pick up the heaviness of life when we don't really need to. Life is life is ease if you allow it to be. I think that's something that I'm starting to realize is that now that I've kind of gotten out of these patterns and loops and cycles that I've been so accustomed to throughout my life, like, how do I say this? It's like getting caught up in something that is not that important and just having a bunch of these things. And then you just let it, all those things fester in your head and you worry and you stress and you allow it to consume you. And once you learn how to break that habit, that's what all of this is. It's like unlearning, it's like deprogramming, unconditioning yourself to the things that you've always done. And it's a hard process because that shit is embedded within us. It's embedded in our systems and we expect certain things to happen and it's hard to get out of that loop. If you've ever tried to break an addiction, you know how hard it is. They say, the average person who stops smoking cigarettes, it takes them like 9 times of quitting. And that's because the loop comes around. It's like, oh, smoke. This is what I'm used to. And then you kind of snap out of it and you break out of that loop and your loop gets wider. And then you kind of come back a little bit because you just couldn't handle the stress without it and you just needed it and you made the excuse but then like eventually like the tension of the quit, it gets so, your loop gets so much wider and then eventually you just kind of snap out of it and you stop smoking. And that's like the same thing with all of these patterns in our lives. And for me, a lot of it was like rumination, overthinking. And I know there's a lot of overthinkers out there. But once you start to get away from the overthinking, like, oh, you spend these little tiny periods away from overthinking. You're like outside, you're over here, you're just in life. You're enjoying life. And sometimes you just look up and you're like, holy shit, I haven't even been overthinking. I haven't been dwelling. I haven't been ruminating, over analyzing, none of that. I just haven't been doing it. And then you kind of find yourself allowing yourself to think about things that make you happy. You're like, oh, I don't need to dwell on the negative, but let me just play with this positive side of thinking. And then that's another trap too, because even that rumination about the positive side, the future, your goals, your dreams, everything that could be, that everything that is happening, the more you focus on the good stuff, you don't realize that you're getting pulled away from the present moment. And so the thinking about the great stuff is also a trap, just as much as thinking about the negative. They both take you away from the present moment. And the present moment is where everything is. This is where everything is. And you can't escape that. It's right here. And if you're lost in your head, whether it's good or bad, you're not here. You know? Being lost in your head is like being lost on a endless scroll on your phone, doom scrolling. You're just doom scrolling thoughts. It doesn't matter if your thoughts and the algorithm that you have of your thoughts is more optimized for positivity or motivation, you're still on the algorithm. And so the best thing you can really do is just put the phone down, put the thoughts down. And it's hard, it's scary because once again, we go back to these patterns and these cycles that we all go through. It's what we've always done. It's what's always been there for us. And we don't know how to become this new version of ourselves that doesn't use those things because it's scary. It's new territory. We're pioneers. It's like that mountain right there behind me. It's like the top of that mountain is no thinking, no thoughts. But I've never been up there and I don't know the trail. I don't know what the clearest path to get around those rocks up there at the top. Like that's where it gets really treacherous. But you don't know until you go try. You don't know until you're up there walking around, until your perspective changes. And even halfway up, you look back and then you look at the desert that you just came from, and you're just like, wow, this is amazing. This is a much better vantage point than I was at before. Before, all I could see was the mountain, overcoming thoughts, overcoming rumination, and now I can see the lay of the land. Sorry, I'm just enjoying this desert view right now. It's kind of beautiful out here. I'm listening to these bees buzz. It's about 94 degrees out. Try to come out here and freestyle a little bit today with some thoughts, just some stuff going on. I didn't really have much prepared to shoot this video. I just wanted to come out here, feel the energy, and feel what was coming through me recently. And those two things, I guess I talked about, maybe three things. I guess that's kind of what's been coming up. I'm trying to express this feeling that I'm having within myself. That it's really extraordinary for me because it's just like I feel so clear and happy lately. And I'm watching my life, and it's not extravagant. It's not like I don't have a lot going on. It's actually a lot of really mundane shit like work and school and home projects and making content. And I feel like I'm at bandwidth, I'm at capacity, but this what what this would have done to me 2 years ago or even a year ago would completely have overwhelmed me and had me thinking in my head and ruminating about everything and wondering if I was good enough or blah blah blah, like all of this shit, you know what I mean, all of this stuff. And I feel like I've released a lot of it. I went through an initiatory process and I felt like I died for 3 days and came back. Like I feel like I know what Jesus went through. About a year ago, I was in this depth of myself that I can't explain. I lost all energy. All of my energy went away. And for 3 days, I was like a zombie. I couldn't think. I was just there trying to make it through the day. And I remember that was the period where I really surrendered to all of the bullshit, because at some point, all of the bullshit that you keep trying to hold on to, it breaks you. It tears you down, and you have to surrender to it. And when you do fully surrender to it, it will drop you into the depths. But then on that third day, man, I came back, and the process of coming back to life initiated. And here it is, around a year later, and I feel like I'm completing this cycle, this loop of letting like myself go, like the moth or the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis or the cocoon, and like finally just taking that last step and taking flight out into the beautiful desert and to go suck the pollen of life. You know what I mean? To go flutter around and enjoy the beauty of nature and really just be in it and feel organically moving through life and not so strained anymore. Not like I'm grinding up against a wall, chipping away at a stone. And it just feels amazing, and it's possible for you, you know? And I guess this message is just really for you who is struggling with a lot of it's overthinking, rumination, stuck in your head, and you're in this prison, this cage of your mind. You can get out, but you have to like make the commitment and say, I'm ready. and really just start becoming conscious and aware of the process of being stuck in your head and coming out of it, realizing where you're at. When you're caught in that noise of your mind, you got to become aware of it. Oh, I'm thinking too much again. I'm narrating everything. I'm filling in gaps of knowledge that I don't have with analysis of what I think is happening. See, that's another thing. You have to see what is. You have to see reality as it is. You have to join the reality club. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, is join the reality club. We have to see it for what it is. If you don't know why something happened or why somebody acted a certain way, and you take it personally and you think it's all about you, and you fill in these gaps where you're like, oh, I know how this person is. I know exactly what they're doing. They're doing this to me because they want this to happen. And it's like, dude, drop that whole story, drop the narrative, drop the overanalysis. You don't know what's going on. And you thinking that you are a good analyzer, and you read energy and you're empathic, like maybe you are, but you're actually just putting yourself through unnecessary turmoil. You're building yourself up and crashing down when it's wrong or when the thing doesn't pan out. And it's, again, it's like we can build ourselves up and we can bring ourselves down low with thoughts. But the the point we want to be at is not here and not here. We want to be in reality. This is reality. And we're allowed to be happy. We're allowed to be free. And we're supposed to get sad. And we do get depressed. And it's okay to feel those things. I want everybody to feel all the emotions they have. But it's not good to allow them to dictate our lives and run our lives, to make decisions based on those emotions. We need to feel everything fully and let it process through us, through our bodies, and let it exit. And then we come back to baseline and we come back to reality. And that's the point from which we react. That's the wrong word. From the point that we respond, from the point that we take action, is reality. We don't take action from depression or anger or shame or fear. And we don't take action from, grandiosity and arrogance and, you know, optimum emotion. Sometimes it can lead to something great, but you got to understand it's just two parts of the same spectrum, and you're always going to come down. The higher you go, the harder you fall. And your life is a ritual. It really is. And this is something that I'm starting to understand about life. Life is a ritual. Like, if you've ever done any visualization or, um, obviously meditation, visual meditations, I'm going to talk about something a little bit occult, but in ceremonial magic, there's a ritual called the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And it's a very intricate ritual. It's taken me 30 to 40 minutes to complete it. And it's something where I'm just standing in the dark in my garage, going through this ritual of gestures, of verbalizations, of vibrations, using my voice to vibrate, and visualizations. And I'm going through this whole process. And I used to think that these things were important. Like, I thought it was my subconscious that I was working with. And it really is. But what it's really doing and why it takes so long is because it takes presence, it takes your attention to get through the process and to feel like you completed it fully. You know, you can just go through the motions and go through it and not necessarily feel anything or get any impact from it, but say that you did the ritual. You know what I mean? But if you really want to gain the energy from it and feel what it's like to complete it with your full attention and your full presence, you have to take the time and be present and not get lost in your mind as you're doing it. And that's why I say your life is a ritual, because you're supposed to take what you learn from that ritual into your life. You're not just supposed to go to work and go through the motions and come home and sit in your car in front of your house and, you know, pause before you go in to just go through the motions of being at home and doing the dad duties or the mom duties. And you know what I mean? You're supposed to be present at all times. And that's what this teaches you. These rituals teach you this: be present at all times. You don't just go sit on the mat and meditate for 30 minutes and then go out into your world and stop meditating. No, the meditation, you're supposed to be meditating all day. What does meditation do? It gets us out of our heads and into our bodies, into the present moment. Okay? When we're out in life and we're in our heads, we have to become aware of that, become present. Here we are. And so just remember that your life is a ritual. Be present. Don't take it so heavily. If you're trying to pick it up, put it down, man. Relax. Relax, but stay vigilant. You can do both of those things. When you truly meditate, when your spine is straight and you're focusing on your posture, because posture is important. When you got a strong, sturdy spine, but you're breathing into your belly, into that baby belly, that softness, it's a balance. It's a balance of strength and softness. Strengthen the spine, softness in the belly. Breathe into your belly, into your pelvic floor. You can do both. And again, we go back to that middle ground. It's the way, it's the Tao, it's the path. The path is the middle. Soon, and I hope you do this. I hope you do practice that spine technique. If you meditate, and if you don't meditate, please meditate. It's wonderful. But practice that spine technique, because posture is important. A lot of people say posture isn't important. It is. You don't want to walk around in this world a slouch, you know? Do the people that you respect the most walk with their shoulders forward and their back hunched, or do they walk with their chest out, their shoulders relaxed, in presence, in centeredness? Do the people you respect, are they disorganized? Are their desks, are their houses, are their rooms sloppy with shit everywhere? Or are they organized and precise and structured so that they can have freedom within that structure? Are the people that you respect loud about their opinions? Do they always need to be right? Or can they hold contradictory beliefs at the same time and play around with them? And, the people that I respect the most, sometimes you can't tell what they believe because they can fluidly go back and forth between different things, but in the end, that they do hold some philosophy or something strongly. They just don't hold to it so rigidly that they break every time it's contradicted. So I'm glad you joined me today. I'm glad I sat here and let the desert speak through me today. I hope you join me on the next one. I'm going to keep doing these every week. Hopefully I start to get some viewers. If you like the video, please comment, please like and subscribe, show your boy some love, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.